and what do you do?
My name is John I'm the owner of Gamey. We publish board games. For me, I always loved games ever since my father gave me a Atari 2600. So a lot of my influence for my board games that I design come from retro arcade games and stuff.
I love
so
that.
I try to reproduce the spirit of that. And some of the games I have do have that. The game I have here is called the Tree Trimming Game. It's a great holiday game for the family you have and the family you make. The idea is you're garlanding a tree and you're trying to put tiles down of ornaments that do not match each other. So you have one ornament and you have to make sure that you're placing ornaments so that the same ornament are not touching.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? So it's a great game for adults and children, and it's enough for 2 to 24 players. So
2 to 24.
So if you have a large family, we could all play. So what I like to talk about is the idea of creating a new tradition surrounded by board games for the holiday. There's a lot of people that enjoy that, and this is a great entryway to that, where if you're adult and you're having a party, you're drinking your eggnog, you don't have to necessarily pay attention too much, so that you can come and play and then still have your event, and then the kids can really dig deep into it. So younger players can be prompted to play. The rules are on the table. It's a lot of fun. The age ranges, we'll say officially it's 7, but younger players can play, especially with little guidance from an adult, and then I'm sure they can autopilot it. When you place a tile on a star, you draw a holiday spirit card.
Oh!
So what the holiday spirit card does is a prompt for the season. So this is an ask every player. Hot cocoa in a mug or eggnog in a tall glass. And let me tell you, everybody has opinions.
That. Oh, I'm sure about
everybody
eggnog.
has opinions. So we end up, when I was play testing with my family, they're very good sports. We were doing it not in the holiday season. And that would spark a debate even when it's not December. When I designed this, it's more about getting everybody together to just talk about stuff, whether it's the holiday or anything else. The price point is $40. It can go as fast as 30 or as long as an hour, whatever, depending on how engaged everybody is at the event. But you can place this on the table. It's nice, it's big. Again, I said it was sturdy, so it'll take a little bit of punishment, especially small hands, and it's nice and thick. And you can just let it sit, play, you drink, you eat. Oh, even some of the cards prompt you to have a cookie.
Really?
So, yeah, it's you're a little hungry, go grab it. You're a little cold, go grab some mittens, stuff like that. So it's very, it's a lot of fun.
That sounds really fun. How do you balance the game designer life and family?
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, so it's about organizing your time. And now we're being very adult about you set aside a lot of time for work, and then after that you set aside time for family, friends, and everything else, So I think my wife and I do a great job of that. And our kid is older now, so she's a little autonomous. So she goes, does her thing, we have dinner together. It's a great thing, yeah.
Where can we find you online?
You can find me at gamey.fun. Because Gamey is fun. So it's GAMEY.FUN.
And that's everywhere across social media as well?
Oh, for social media, it's Gamey Together.
Gamey Together. Yeah. Awesome. And what is your favorite game of all time?
Now we're talking about video games, or
so, and everyone says
that.
Everyone says that.
So for board games.
For board games.
For board games, okay. I'm gonna do one nostalgia and one mechanical. Nostalgia, I remember getting. I know they've reprinted it, a newer version, but the Pac-Man board game.
Pac-Man board game?
There used to be a Pac-Man board game. And the reason why I liked it is the Pac-Man were this large Pac-Man shaped things, and there were marbles on the board, and you would literally chomp and it would hold the marbles in the Pac-Man, and it just started me on I can have all these types of. I can share my experience on the screen on a table. But if we're going to talk about mechanically, I feel that Power Grid is probably my favorite kind of more mechanical. I think it's a infinitely better designed Monopoly.
Favorite
video game? Oh my god. So I'm very much into retro games. We're gonna I know we said the Pac-Man board game, but I think my favorite video game. All right, so we're gonna go old school. It's gonna be Pac-Man, but if we're gonna like push in a little bit towards my high school years, there's a game called Dungeons and Dragons: Shadows over Mystara, and that is it put together two of my favorite worlds of like learning about role-playing games, RPGs, Dungeons and Dragons, like talking over a table, and the video game, and it's probably the best translation of Dungeons and Dragons and a side-scrolling beat 'em up that's ever been made. The different classes, the fighter, the magic user, the elf, the dwarf, each were unique in the way they fought and the way they cast spells and everything, and it's probably my all-time best video game.
Where did Gamey come from? How long has it been in business?
All right, so Gamey's been around since last year, officially 22. So again, I'm sure a lot of people have this story. COVID happens, they get laid off, and I'm a bit of a crossroads. It's like, okay, so now I have to like find work, and it's like you deal with the idea of the value of your work is the value of yourself, and how do you fight against that? So I'm speaking with my wife, she's a supportive partner, and she's like, why don't you just do what you want to do? I'm a designer by trade, so I can easily like design the visuals of the game, and I've done some like tabletop work, so I have some game design background, right? So I get to build them together. So then, like, you know, I'm struggling with that. And we kind of had an argument, and but the argument was like, how can I do this? Would I just start a company and call it Gamey, and that's it? And then she's like, yeah.
That's it.
And I'm like, oh yeah. And that was the end of it. I was like, yeah, okay. Then I started my path. Designed Mean Robo and Ray Racers during the pandemic, and then towards the end of the pandemic, tree trimming game during the holidays, because we're in the spirit of like, oh yeah, I'm making games, or I'm talking about making games, all that, and then we're having dinner, and my wife was like, why don't you make a holiday board game? I'm like, oh. I'm like, yeah. All right, yeah, let's do it. You know, and then we talked about like the complexity of the game and how do we want to approach it, and that's when we came up with this.
Kudos to your wife for being a supportive partner, and it sounds like the muse.
Absolutely, support is very important. It's like for a lot of you know, at start you're not gonna make a lot of money, right? Because you're like building your technique, your brand, whatever that is. So it's nice to have support if you can get it, whether it's from friends, from partners, from family, whatever it is. If you get that support, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it. You can
That's...
do it. I you know, and again, like in some ways, I kind of like needed her permission. I know it's difficult to say because it's like I almost couldn't trust myself.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and it's nice to have someone there and be like, yeah, you can. It's like waking up in the morning, I was pretty nervous because
Really?
Not that I'd never been to a convention, I've never been on this side of the table. So it's like, okay, now what? You know, will people buy things?
Right.
Will people like look at it? Will people smile? It's like all these little things, right? So it's nice to just be able to just talk with people that are genuine. Again, genuine strangers are genuine. Like we're all kind of living in this world trying to make something happen. That's why, you know, I love making games because I just love making stuff.
Right.
Like, again, designing art, it's all part of my being. And it's like, okay, how can I leverage that into something I could do, other people enjoy, make some money someday. You know, I know that's how do you deal with commerce and creativity and like make it authentic? Hey, it's like, this is all like, everything you're seeing is my artistic hand. So it's like, this is what I could do.
Yeah.
And then hopefully people enjoy it and like want it.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
please want it. And again, low impact for people that are enjoying the event and kids learning how to play board games. A great entry level thing.
Absolutely. And what is the thing you've learned so far? I know it's only day one, but is there anything, any advice, anything that you can say?
Oh yeah. So you're sitting at your booth, and it is okay if people just pass by and not respond to what you have. It's okay. There'll be other people. There's a lot of people at PAX. There's a lot of people in life, and somebody will come around and want your things.
Right.
And it's totally a thing. So even for someone who's done it a lot, I'm sure they have that kind of same fear.
Yeah.
So it's part of the human condition that we all have to deal with.